The most confident men are usually the ones who talk the least. They don't need to explain themselves or justify anything. Their presence says it all. Meanwhile, a lot of guys out there are trying way too hard to be heard. They talk too much, gesture too much, push too hard, and the more they talk, the less seriously they're taken. Here's the hard truth. It's not your voice that's holding you back. It's the message you send before you even say a word. Confidence doesn't shout, it commands. And today, I'm going to show you exactly how to build that. No faking, no memorizing lines, no pretending to be someone you're not. If you're tired of being the guy who gets ignored in conversations, if you want to be noticed for who you are, not who you're trying to be, stick around, because the things I'm about to share with you can turn you into the kind of man who walks into a room silently and still owns the space. Act 1. The silent presence that owns the room. Some men walk into a room and no one notices. Then there's the other kind, the one who just steps through the door and instantly shifts the energy in the room. And the most surprising part, he barely says a word. He just is, and that's enough. Because respect isn't something you demand. It's something you command by how you take up space. A quiet presence is a powerful weapon. We're not talking about being shy or withdrawn. We're talking about a calm that sparks curiosity. The man with presence doesn't talk much because he doesn't need to prove anything. He speaks through his eyes, through how he stands, through how he carries himself. His silence has weight. It pulls attention. It draws people in. That's magnetic. It's the exact opposite of the guy who talks too much just to impress. If you need words to feel respected, you've already lost. The most respected men speak little but move with intention. They have steady eyes, a confident stride, centered energy. Anyone can shout. Few can radiate power without saying a thing. Practice that. Instead of trying to control the conversation, control the environment. Instead of filling silence with empty words, learn to hold it with presence. Wear clothes that match your message. Walk with purpose. Breathe deep. Look people in the eye. And most of all, let your body speak before your mouth does. Real confidence doesn't come from your tongue. It comes from your energy, your behavior, your presence. And that's what makes people notice you before they even know your name. Act 2. Body language that commands respect. You can say 1,000 words, but if your posture is weak, no one's really listening because your body speaks. And in the male world, it shouts. The way you walk, how you hold your shoulders, how steady your gaze is. It all reveals your level of confidence before you open your mouth. A man who drags his feet, slouches his shoulders, and keeps his head down is telling the world, I'm okay being ignored. Now watch the man who walks with firm steps, chest open, chin level with the horizon. He didn't ask for respect. He earned it just by how he moves. That's raw, unfiltered presence. Want a simple example? The handshake. If you greet someone with that limp, lifeless lettuce hand, the message is loud and clear. You don't trust yourself. Now a firm grip, not aggressive, steady eye contact, grounded hand. That changes the whole dynamic. It says, I know who I am. I know where I stand. Want to train this? Use the power pose technique by Dr. Amy Cuddy. Stand tall, feet shoulder width apart, hands on hips, controlled breathing. 2 minutes in that posture can shift your emotional state. Your body sends a signal to your brain, I'm in control, and your brain answers with real confidence. Remember, your body language is your armor. It protects you, it projects you, it reveals you. So next time you walk into a room, walk in like you belong, even if no one knows your name yet. Because when your body is aligned, it speaks your authority before your voice ever does. Act 3. Smart eye contact. The right kind of eye contact can take your presence to a whole new level. But we're not talking about staring someone down like it's a power contest. A man of value doesn't need to intimidate. He simply looks with steady, clear, focused eyes. Someone who avoids eye contact, looks down, or constantly glances away is silently screaming insecurity and worse, submission. There's a big difference between looking someone in the eye with intention and staring anxiously like you're begging for attention. An anxious man looks needy, but the man who masters eye contact, he speaks confidence without saying a word. Here's a simple rule to start practicing. 50-70. Maintain eye contact 50% of the time while speaking and 70% while listening. This shows you're engaged without being aggressive. Want to train this? Start with people close to you. When talking to a friend or family member, lock eyes during key points of the conversation. You can also train in the mirror. Talk to yourself. Watch your own gaze. Are you present or hiding behind distraction? Then test it out with strangers, at the store, on the street, during casual conversations. A steady gaze says something powerful. I'm here. Fully. Eye contact is like an invisible thread that creates connection. When you use it with intention, you stand out in any room. Because the man who doesn't run from eye contact doesn't run from himself. And that's rare, and what's rare earns respect. But even all that presence can vanish if you talk too much. And that's exactly what we're diving into next. Act 4, say less, deliver more. Some men think they have to dominate the conversation to get noticed. They talk too much, always try to prove a point, want to sound smart every second. But the more they speak, the less impact they make, because real power lives in well-used silence. A man who speaks less but with purpose has more impact than the guy trying to win by being the loudest. He doesn't waste words. He picks each one carefully. That makes his voice rare. And what's rare is valuable. Psychology explains this through the scarcity principle. The less available something is, the more important we perceive it to be. So when you only say what's necessary, your words hit harder. The guy who always has an opinion loses strength. But the man who listens, observes, and speaks at the right time, he becomes a reference. He doesn't seek attention, he attracts it. And when he finally speaks, everyone stops to listen. That's presence, that's respect. Want an example? Think of leaders like Jocko Willink or Morgan Freeman, men of few words. But when they talk, the entire room changes. Train this in your daily life. Before you speak, ask yourself, does this really need to be said right now? Is it adding value or just feeding my ego? Learn to love silence, observe more, listen with intention, and speak only when it matters. Respect doesn't come just from what you say. It comes from how you act, when you don't have to say anything at all. Act 5. Self-control is the new raw power. A man who loses it over anything has already lost before the game even starts. Because when it comes to respect, losing control means giving away power. That old image of the alpha male yelling, breaking stuff, trying to intimidate, that's weakness pretending to be strength. Real power is calm. It's the posture of someone who doesn't need to react right away. Someone who feels everything, but responds with strategy. Today, self-control is the new brute strength, and the man who masters it owns any room he walks into. You know what goes through people's minds when they see a calm man in the middle of a provocation? This guy knows exactly what he's doing. Self-control projects confidence, maturity, leadership. It's the opposite of impulsiveness, which only reveals fear and emotional instability. A man of value doesn't react out of emotion. He watches, he calculates, and then he moves. cold, strategic, steady, not because he doesn't feel, but because he's learned never to be a slave to what he feels. Here's a practical example. You're in a heated discussion and someone tries to provoke you. Breathe. Keep your posture. Speak slowly with a calm but firm tone. Don't raise your voice. Listen carefully and choose your words. That kind of response disarms anyone. You don't have to prove you're strong. You just have to show you don't need to prove anything. That intimidates far more than shouting. That earns more respect than trying to win with volume. So ask yourself, who's more admired? The guy who explodes or the one who stays composed? That answer points to the path you should take. You don't have to speak loudly to be heard. You don't need to explain yourself over and over to be respected. A man of value is felt in the way he walks in the silence he carries, in the steadiness of his actions. It's the quiet choices, self-control, posture, steady eyes, that build real authority. And no, it doesn't happen overnight, but it starts with one decision. Now let me ask you, how many times have you lost respect trying too hard to sound interesting? How many times did you speak when you should have just held the gaze? How many times did you try to impress when being present was enough? If you want to be the kind of man who earns respect without yelling, who draws attention without forcing it, who's remembered for his presence, not for his arguments, then hit subscribe. This isn't a place for cheap talk. This is a place for building, and your silence, used wisely, can say more than 1,000 speeches. Big respect to you, and may God bless you, brother.